Oh, hello there, everyone.
Hello? This is Crouch Channel, right? Instead, there's a guy with a Pack-A-Day voice and a weird Hellboy icon. Well, we'll see where this goes.
So over the past few weeks, if not longer, honestly, there's been quite a bit of debate within atheist circles about what the quote-unquote communities that supposedly exist around atheism are, and how they function, and what they mean.
You mean atheists are finally realizing they can't organize a community around a non-belief? Go on.
I'm not going to talk about that in this video.
Thank God. That has to be one of the most tiresome debates on the internet.
No, instead this video will be where I focus on and explain some of my own atheism as I've come to understand it.
Great, I can tell from the extreme vocal fry on this guy that he probably thinks his atheism is bold, and he just doesn't care about what other people think.
Some in the course of this may take issue with some of what I say. This is okay, as I, as a matter of course, action and nature, make it a point not to pay too much attention to what other people say or think.
Called it.
So while this may come across as perhaps nihilistic, in addition to the basic rejection of a Heavenly All-Father who created ourselves as well as the meaning to us, I can assure you it is entirely meant to do that. But in something of a sort of positive or optimistic way.
Oh, I get it. This is one of those positive nihilism videos that explains the whole Satan image and the acid music in the background. Although I'm not so sure I associate Satan with positive nihilism. Not unless Satan is the 19-year-old version of me having just smoked pot. Although, come to think of it, that does explain why he would be so unpleasant to be around.
Let us, as we ought to, take God and divinity and authoritative expectation and command out of the equation entirely. In fact, let's remove the entire concept of sort of externalized objective meaning to human experience altogether.
Whoa, you mean like no externalized meaning? That's like totally nothing that anyone's ever thought about.
This saying that where we feel meaning and presence and reason, that it's simply within ourselves. It's not something external, it's solely within our own selves. So what are we left with?
Oh man, I don't know, like maybe just like ourselves or something?
Well, for one thing, we're left more concretely with the experience itself, with the experiences we endure and enjoy themselves.
All right, but in all seriousness, what are we to make of this? The issue with positive nihilism, or nihilism in general, isn't that nobody's ever thought of it, or that no one's ever practiced it. It's the fact that it's so hard to be consistent, because there's really nothing you can say after you make the statement, let's not apply any value judgments on the universe. For instance, I'm willing to bet that at some point in this conversation, this author, the Wizard of Cause, is going to try to smuggle in a bunch of value statement words that communicate his own application of meaning onto the universe. And he's going to invite the listener to accept them as their own meaning, even though he just said 5 seconds ago that there is absolutely no meaning that can be applied to the universe in this way. Heck, let's do this. I'll put up a counter and a timer. We'll just see how long the Wizard of Cause can go in this conversation without using words that invite the audience to apply meaning to the universe. Heck, let's see how long he can go before he uses 5 of those words.
No longer reliant upon external sources of validation or meaning for the impactful moments we enjoy and endure, our tragedies and our triumphs, the moments of beauty and horror, and the totality of our lives become less the matter of some creator's will and more a genuine set of human experiences.
19.07 seconds. 19 seconds to get to 6 words that invite the listener to apply meaning and value to the universe. Congratulations, sir. I mean, the only reason that this works at all is that it's so spaced out with all the flowery language you can't tell what's going on. I mean, what if we just condensed all of the actual information in the Wizard of Cause's last few sentences? Just get rid of all the vocal fry and all of the weird adjectives and just condense it into one quote. Let's just see what it'll look like. There we go. Once we accept that the universe has no meaning, the impact of our beautiful triumphs and horrific tragedies become more authentic. Anyone buy that? Anybody? Sound good to you?
In this, by leaving behind the notion of a God or divine order, we assume full ownership of ourselves and all we experience, even if we carry this notion beyond God to the basic question of meaning itself.
Ah, yes, it's the ownership canard, mastered by every freshman literature student who read Camus or Sartre for the first time.
In the grand scheme of cause and effect, religion and the gods which religion creates and promotes as the final answer to larger questions that humanity is bound by its intellect and nature to ask, is really itself more of a placeholder for genuine understanding than anything else.
Note, this video doesn't actually provide any understanding of anything. All he's asking us to do is to abandon the question of meaning in the universe. The exact opposite of any quest for understanding whatsoever.
Taking the social utility of it into account and acknowledging that throughout history religion has served as a tool for the establishing and maintaining social order and social structure within societies. Its core function has always been that of explaining away the big and troublesome questions of life.
Ah, yes, more of the atheist explanation of what religion actually is.
Where did we come from? What happens after we die? Why is the world before us ordered in the way it is, and what is the meaning to any of it?
I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but I have to say it again. There's no explanation being propounded here. There's no answer being offered. All there is the assertion that we should really just abandon the quest for these things, or at least one of these things, meaning.
But as one prophet delivered his supposedly revealed truth after another, I'm forced to wonder how frequently men in these ages past simply ponder the greater likelihood that it is all simply meaningless, it means nothing, and that in the course of doing so, took sort of a sense of peace to that.
Okay. I think I need to do a little bit of an intervention here and speak straight to the Wizard of Cause. I don't know how much of a history buff you are, but maybe you know a few people. I certainly do. And let me just say, both as a person, as a history buff, and general experiencer of life, the following. Everybody has thought of this. Everybody has considered the possibility that there is no meaning in the universe. Everybody has considered this. This is not a new idea. It's something that all humans go through. Now, if you're wondering why people in the past didn't adopt this philosophy, hold it inward and get some peace out of it, it's because this philosophy can only be sustained in times of such enormous wealth that there is no physical hardship that abounds or actually threatens their lives. Every person has a dark night of the soul where they wonder if anything they do even has meaning. Everyone who's ever smoked pot has the same experience euphorically, thinking that it's really positive, or that this would be the chance to let go and embrace something that's more real. But at the end of the day, if we didn't live in our technological 21st century society with everything at our fingertips and no wants, we would realize that this philosophy is utter ruin. In the vast expanse of human experience, people have relied on each other. They've relied on sacrificing for each other. And the people who took this selfish, amoral philosophy of everything being meaningless out beyond their own internal thoughts and applied it to the world would be an utter threat and sociopathic force in their own communities. This is why nihilism is frowned upon.
This is perhaps where challenges of nihilism may come into play. That's perfectly fine in my eyes. Just as with the concept of God offering us a chance to write off all questions of our origins, purpose, and so on, the very concept of externalized senses of meaning or purpose unto themselves are such that I find largely unnecessary, as all one really needs to do is to recognize that objective irrelevance in a vast, cold, uncaring universe is itself simply an invitation to subjective and personal relevance, which thus establishes meaning.
Whoa, you mean like by rejecting meaning, we actually get meaning back again? That's like so deep, man. No, but seriously, what have we actually accomplished here? The universe has no meaning? We bang our head into the desks a few times, go woo, and suddenly meaning reemerges, fully formed from out of nowhere.
In effect, the old adage that life is what you make it becomes truer than ever. Not reliant upon a deity who never answers your prayers, or some sincere hope that some kind of higher power is guiding you in your life purposefully with a reason. The ownership of personal experience and the creation of one's own personal sense of meaning without this external catalyst or motivator can be, from my perspective, very fulfilling, and compared to religion, rather intellectually sound.
I mean, leave aside the moment that we constantly switch back and forth between a critique of meaning and a critique of God. This is no more scientifically sound than any other view of the world. The only thing it is just one assumption less than people make about the universe. But why is less even better? Would a solephist that thinks that everything is an illusion and that reality is a simulation and that any application of fact or truth onto the universe is totally artificial, would that be more sound because it's just one less assumption about the universe? Presumably so, but there goes all your science.
Through this abandoning of old superstition, we as people can gain more from the conscientious grappling with existential dread and uncertainty than we could really ever hope to by accepting the prefabricated existential cop-outs that religious myths offer.
I'm not sure what people mean by existential dread and grappling with uncertainty, but I imagine the people who are experiencing it sound a lot less insufferably self-satisfied. And how is any of this existential dread supposed to give us more? More what? We've already discarded any concept of value from the universe on the outset. Any comparison between any two worldviews therefore has no objective measurement by which we could evaluate them. I don't know what you mean by existential cop-out, but what could be more of a cop-out than using this sort of fluffy language that leads ultimately nowhere?
In first rejecting a bogus answer to a fundamental question, we allow the question to linger on, hopefully inspiring both deeper reflection upon it, while also avoiding the saddling of the mind with fallacious narratives and dogmatic immuring.
Not really, because the existential presuppositions you just set up preclude the asking or answering of any additional questions. There's nowhere to go from here.
I guess this is my atheism, or perhaps just a bit of it.
No, man, this isn't just a bit of your atheism. This is your atheism. This is all of it. It can go no further. Now look, I know a lot of atheists watch my channel, and I want to tell you all, I know atheists aren't all like this. I know you're not all nihilists, but this is why atheists in particular have to be careful of nihilism. Nihilism is one of the loneliest philosophies because it is the philosophy that terminates all others. It is the thought-killing thought. Once we embrace this perspective that no meaning or value can be placed on the universe, that's it. There can be no more discussion on anything, because any further conclusion will be artificial and delusional. If you want to go here, that's fine. But this is the end of the atheism. It can go no further.